Hey, how's it going?
All is well, all is well. How you feeling?
Good, good.
All right, man. Thank you so much for coming on the platform. It's definitely an honor, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me
Let's
on.
see. Oh yeah, no doubt, man. You making some major moves. We're gonna get right into it. I know you gotta take care of your business. For the viewers who may not recognize you, let them know who you are and definitely where you're from.
I'm Austin Briggs. I'm from Cleveland Heights, Ohio, uh, and founder of the Cleveland School of Cannabis, the first accredited cannabis school in the U.S. So I've been involved in cannabis my whole life, pretty much since I was about 12 years old, and then developed the school back in 2016, and now last year we became the first accredited school in the country.
Wow, that's major. So you making history with it. Big shout out to the Heights. I used to live in the Heights, man. That's what's up. Good to see, somebody from the turf doing big things.
I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Now when you say first accredited cannabis school, like what does that actually mean?
Yeah, so we're the first school with an accreditation that's recognized by the U.S. Department of Education. So, there's a lot of accreditors that may accredit your curriculum per se, or some aspect of the school, but our accreditor is called MSACESS, and they accredit the entire organization. So they came, it took 3 years. They went through all our material. They vetted our instructors. They interviewed students about their experience and alumni. They went through all of our books. They really combed through the whole organization with a fine tooth comb, and we're the only organization that went through that process that's focused on cannabis. There's other schools that are maybe colleges or universities that already have an accreditation that maybe added a program, but typically those schools are just licensing their curriculum from an organization like our own who actually develops the curriculum. So we're the only school with that level of accreditation that is completely cannabis focused.
Okay, okay, cool, cool. That's what's up. Now I kind of want to go into your background a little bit. Now you actually went to Kent State University.
Correct. Yep. So I went to Kent State. I took like 2 years off before going to college. So I graduated from Heights in 2005, and then enrolled in Kent about 2 years later, and I went to their entrepreneurship program. So I was one of their first entrepreneurship students. I believe I was in the second class there.
Wow, that's what's up. Big shout out to Kent State. Um, Now you got into the entrepreneurship. I was looking at your bio. You got into like real estate. What made you get into that, and how did that work out for you?
Yeah, so real estate was really kind of my introduction to the cannabis industry, like the legal cannabis industry, I should say. Um, when I was living in California, there was kind of a gap between people that wanted to grow and find space to grow in. A lot of landlords were kind of like hesitant to rent to people for grows or for anything cannabis related. So I started to get into it on that angle, just renting and subleasing spaces to people for grows. And then that took me up to Northern California, where warehouse space was a little bit cheaper. So I moved from LA to the um, to the Bay Area, but more in like the Sacramento area, and then started to get involved in grows there. And then that's kind of where the idea started to be sparked for an education, because I went to an education program up there, and it wasn't really in depth. And I just figured, as big as this industry is becoming, that they need a more in-depth education, and a more vetted education institution to help folks who might be transitioning. Everybody who's involved in the industry in the past has been, black or gray market, depending where you are. A lot of people want to transition over to the white market. So that's kind of what we wanted to give people a bridge so that they can, transition over to the legal markets.
Man, that's what's up. That's what's up. Now, what was that experience like? Going out to Cali. I like to hear more about that. I've been to LA. I've been to the Bay Area. Man, them some cool places. You know, you hear so much about them through TV and music and movies. Was it a major culture shock from coming from the Midwest?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it wasn't a hard transition for me. As soon as I remember the first time I landed in LA and felt that, kind of cool breeze. It was at night when I got in there, and I rented like a convertible, and just seeing the mountains and the palm trees. I knew that I would be moving there soon the first time I landed there. But I already had friends from Cleveland that were out there. So, you know, it was an easy transition for me. There was probably like 8 to 10 people that I knew from Cleveland that were living out there at the time. So it ended up being a pretty smooth transition for me to get out there and have some, people to network with who had already been out there for a few years.
Yeah, that's major. That's real cool, man. That's inspiring, man. You was going for it, going out there. That's what's up. Now I can ask you about this. In your bio, you had kind of talked about starting financial literacy in the elementary schools. If you could kind of speak on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something that's really been missing from the school system. And so, I have done speaking engagements in the past. I haven't done much since COVID. I was really getting heavy into speaking before COVID hit, and then COVID hit, and everything kind of went online, and I had to really refocus my attention back on the business. However, that is, something that I'm passionate about. I think that people need to learn more practical knowledge and information now. The school system, I believe, is completely outdated. It hasn't changed much in a few hundred years. As everything else has changed and evolved, the school system is pretty much, untouched in the last few hundred years. So we need to really take a look at that. Teach people financial literacy and entrepreneurship, because that's vital now. I mean, the average job that you work, households now are working 4 jobs between two parents, just to pay rent. So people got to start looking at, not just how to invest, but how to start businesses and make income outside of their, regular forms of income. So I think that's something that has to start early, and you got to plant that seed early.
Yeah, definitely, man. I substitute teach, man. When I'm back in the States, that's something I do. I spend my time in the elementary school, middle school, and high school, and I'll be thinking to myself, like, I don't feel like that the children are prepared to deal with the world as it is today. When
Yeah.
they step outside of that school system and get into the real world, I don't think that they, because it's different from when we was in school a little bit. Like the internet was like something for maybe we'll do like a research paper, we'll go to the library, do a book report or something now. But it's like they got these phones in their hand. They got laptops in the classroom. You gotta walk around the class, be like, man, turn the game off. Do this and do that. But they not really learning about, like you say, investing in real estate or entrepreneurship and stuff like that. And it's kind of sad, really.
Yeah, it is. I mean, a lot of the skills that they're teaching them are not going to be done by human beings. You know what I'm saying? In the next 10 years, so we're teaching people something that's going to be irrelevant in a lot of cases. And then I think that college has diminished as far as 2 and 4 year colleges and the advantages that you get from that. You don't get that much more income uh, to offset the cost of tuition. I just think it's becoming um, a less viable investment, to do a 2 or 4 year school. I think trade schools are going to be vital, something that can, schools that can shift their focus quickly and adapt to what's going on in the real world. Education is still extremely important, but I just mean that traditional institution of 4 year schools, with all the information that's available on the web. Um, there's experts in every single niche in every single industry that are doing coaching programs for a lot less, where you're learning directly from somebody who's successful in that industry rather than, a lot of times your teachers in schools are not the most successful in their field, and that's no knock on them. But it's just the truth, and when you're looking at business, you want to learn from somebody who's had success in that business. And now with the internet, the way it is, that there's a lot of opportunities to do that and to do it for a lot less money and do it a lot quicker than you could do through a 4-year university. So I think all that needs, revamped and to be reinvestigated and revamped.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Now I want to ask you a little bit about the Cleveland School for Cannabis. Now what was that process like? Like I want to open up a school. Like I'm in Africa. I'm in Ghana. I'm thinking about opening up a school, like say a
Yeah,
traditional school, but giving them some of that hands-on learning and technology and
yeah.
stuff like that. But opening a cannabis school, man, that's major. Like you say, y'all was the first accredited school. What was that process like, and what happened or what sparked your interest to like, man, I'm gonna really go for this, especially coming from Ohio. You're not from Cali, where it was kind of going on for a few years.
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of happened in phases, but I mean, I think like most businesses start with a self need. So I wanted to get educated in the cannabis space. I had been involved as a juvenile, in cannabis probably before I should have been. But I always felt like it was something that people, when I sold cannabis at a younger age, I would sell to entire families that used cannabis, and they weren't, these were working people, had good jobs, people of integrity. So I never felt like it was a bad thing. So I always had, felt like cannabis should be legal. So when I moved out to California, obviously that was at a time where cannabis was just really taking off in LA. So I wanted to get educated. So it came out of a need of me saying, I want to go to a school. So it wasn't like, and there just wasn't many options. And the options that were there, they were real short programs, like 4 days, 6 days. They were like seminars. They weren't actual schools. So then also once I got into the growing side, so that's from a consumer standpoint. I saw like there's probably a lot of people like me who are just trying to get educated so they can find a way in this space. And then the second piece of that was on the back end, as someone that's looking to hire growers or hire people who know what they're talking about in the industry, it was very hard to validate people's experience and people's knowledge in cannabis. So I saw it from the employment side as well, that people, needed an institution where they could reach out and validate people's credentials. And that's what a school provides, because if you have a partnership with a school, then you can get people that were trained and that they were trained the right way. So I saw that it was important from both angles. So when those two came together was around the same time that Ohio legalized. They announced their legalization efforts in 2016, and that's when we got started with the school.
Wow. Okay. That's definitely inspiring. Now what type of courses do you offer, and like do y'all have I guess like a 4-year program or a 2-year program? How does that work?
No, so everything is our certificate program. So anybody who tells you, that you need a 2 or 4 year degree to be in the cannabis industry is full of shit. I'm just put it out there like that. It's just plain and simple. That's not gonna help you. Having college experience, a college degree does help you not go in at an entry level salary, so go into the industry at an entry level salary, because it kind of just shows that you're able to dedicate yourself to something for 2 or 4 years. But that's what it's about. It's not about the education or the knowledge that you received in college. It's about you've been proven that you can stick to something for 2 to 4 years. That's the value you get out of a 2 or 4 year program when it's not focused. I'm not talking about engineers. I'm not talking about doctors. I'm talking about people who are going for, you know, um, things like business management or, even sociology, things like this. Is sometimes, the jobs that you end up with out of those careers, you didn't really need that college degree. So we just try to get right to the cannabis learning. So, all our programs can be finished in under 1 year. And just recently we launched our minors. So we have majors and minors. Our majors, can take anywhere from 6 to 12 months our majors can take 6 to 12 months to finish. Our minors can be finished in under a month, and they're just like introductory level training so that you can actually have something to put on your resume to apply for a job. But with how fast this industry is growing, really, you just want to get working right away. So you want to take something that's fast, that's going to get you in the door, and then you want to just continue to educate yourself as you get into these organizations, because that's what's going to help you climb the ladder faster and give you more job opportunities across the spectrum. So, you're not just locked into a grow facility or just not locked into a dispensary. You kind of should get, continue to get knowledge across the entire supply chain so that you're able to move about the industry in different ways. Being that this industry, a lot of people have licenses, companies have licenses, dual licenses or vertically integrated, where they have a manufacturer, a grow and dispensaries. So the more education you get, the more nimble you are, and the more you're able to kind of bounce around license types, and that gives you a lot more upward mobility in the industry. So, that's kind of what we do. We got programs that are just, designed to really get something on your resume, get you in the door. And then we have some more in-depth programs that really position you to climb the ladder really quickly. And those are what we call our majors. And those are kind of like our flagship programs.
Man, that's dope. That's dope, man. Let me see. You had kind of mentioned, I think in 2016 they made a change in the law, and then I believe recently in 2023 it was a vote to legalize recreational use of cannabis. Now, what does that mean for people who, I guess, are want to use cannabis recreationally? Can they buy it? Can they sell it? Can they grow it themselves? Or
Yeah, so right now in Ohio, you can grow 6 plants per person, 12 plants per household. So that's active right away. The consumption of any adult use cannabis is legal, so you can't go to jail for smoking cannabis. Um, so that is all right away. That happened when that law was, signed into effect on December, I believe it was like December 14th. But right now you can't. There are no places that you can walk in currently and get adult use cannabis, but that is probably a week to 3 weeks away, where some of the medical dispensaries will be opening their doors for adult use. So we expect that to happen in a few weeks, and then it's just going to grow from there. Initially, it'll be all of the current medical licenses having a dual license to sell adult use, and then they're going to open up applications for more everything, more dispensaries, more grows, more processors. So I think it'll be a slow. I think it'll be a slow rollout for new licensees, but I think that the current licensees are well positioned to um, to serve the current market. But it'll take some time, because we definitely need more dispensaries and more retail locations for people's convenience, so they don't have to drive so far.
Oh yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. You had mentioned something earlier about some people could have so many plants or grow on their own. I'm not knowledgeable about it, so I can ask you. Maybe you may know. Is cannabis something that you can grow in Ohio? I mean, like good quality cannabis. Would you have to grow it indoors? Can you the weather permit Ohio citizens to grow outside? How does that work?
Yeah, you can grow it. You know what? I'll have to check on what the outdoor policy is. I believe that they said you had to have it covered, or at least covered up. So I don't know exactly what that means. Most people that I know that are growing in Ohio are growing it indoors. Ohio's not the best climate to grow outdoors on a commercial level. There's only one licensee in Ohio that even has like a greenhouse set up. Everyone else is completely indoor, and it's very similar to Michigan. Michigan is right up north, and they don't do a lot of outdoors or light depot. It's just not a great climate for it. It's really humid in the summers, and then it gets cold quickly in the fall. So it's not the best environment to grow outdoors. So in Ohio, definitely growing indoors is preferred.
Okay, okay. Now I can ask you this. Okay, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the benefits. What are the benefits of marijuana? Because we had an internet. Sometimes you hear stuff is true, sometimes it's not. For a person that just watching and want to learn more, are
Yeah.
are there concrete medical benefits to medical marijuana?
I mean, absolutely. There's scientific benefits that can't be denied as far as, how it reduces inflammation is one, how it can increase your appetite, right? Helps with anxiety and depression in some folks. Um, and my personal belief is that nobody really uses cannabis recreationally. I don't even like that word because it's, everybody that I know in my life that has used cannabis, they're using it for some sort of reason, even if they don't think of it like that. They're using it because it may be calming them down or, relieving some anxiety. I think that's the main thing, is it kind of brings us down to earth. At least for myself, when especially people that have a lot going on with their work life and work life balance, it's hard to kind of separate it, and your mind's always going, especially as an entrepreneur. And I think sometimes, taking some cannabis to just kind of bring you down to earth and put you back in the moment. And that's kind of what one of the things that is the best thing about cannabis, is that it brings you back to what they call homeostasis. So it brings you back to your body and your mind back into balance, in a sense, when it gets out of whack. So I don't really believe in recreational cannabis. I think everybody that uses it is using it for a purpose, whether they know it or not.
Yeah, that definitely make a lot of sense, man. Let me see. Now I can ask you this: is there I guess, a significant difference in the agricultural process of growing medical marijuana in comparison to, say, just um, people that use it for recreational use, or somebody that go into a dispensary, or somebody, is it any difference in terms of how it's developed and processed?
No, same thing, same thing. Yep. I mean, typically people who are recreational users per se, to me, all that means is that they consume more. So they may want a stronger product than somebody who's a medical patient who's just trying to get some relief. Uh, um, Unless you're, say, a cancer patient or somebody who's terminally ill, may need a super high dose, even higher than a recreational person. But it's just all about dosage, though. The plant is the same. You're gonna grow the plant the same whether you're growing it for medical or recreational.
Okay. Now I could ask you about the school. Are y'all on like the regular school schedule? Like, August coming up, people going back to school. Are y'all open all year round? Y'all have any openings or events or anything
Yes.
coming up?
So the great thing about the school is that you can enroll whenever you're ready, because most of the programming is self-paced, where you can go online, 24-hour access to your courses, and then we accompany that with a live calendar of events, so you can do Q&As with your instructors. You can do live learning labs that we do in person and virtually. So we're one of the only institutions. That's one of the reasons why we're accredited, is because we're one of the only ones that's actually interacting with students. Most of the programs that you'll see around the country, especially through colleges and universities, they're just the college or universities is putting their name on it, but it's really somebody else's curriculum, and it's just all either pre-recorded and read-only modules. So you're basically on your own. You just access it, you read it, you watch the videos, and you print a certificate. Even though that's a component with CSC as well, we also have live instruction, so you're able to, bounce ideas off of your professors. You're able to come in and do live learning labs. We do live demonstrations. We bring industry professionals on where you can interact with them as well. So we are the only institution that I know that is offering that type of experience.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's real dope. So for the viewers, if they want to, get in contact with you, they want to enroll, they want to see what y'all working with, do y'all have like a website or social media or anything like that they could tap into?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just Cleveland School of Cannabis is our Instagram handle, and then cscschools.edu is the website. So our website used to be csceducation.com, but after the accreditation, and that's how you can tell if a school is actually accredited and recognized through the U.S. Department of Education, is that it has a .edu at the end. So we just made that transition. So now we are cscschools.edu, and that's where you can find, all the information about our programs and how to enroll.
Okay, man. It's been dope, man. I'm still processing a lot of the information you've been sharing. I really appreciate you. It's a blessing to be able to, chop it up with somebody that's actually, hands on and on the ground with it, with the movement. I'm trying to see that is it anything that I didn't cover that you wanted to inform the people about or anything like that?
No, I mean the main thing is just that if this is something that you're interested in the cannabis industry, there's no excuse not to get involved now. There used to be an excuse, but because there wasn't education and there wasn't a pathway to it, but now, we've created really that bridge to the industry and we really opened it up for people, of all backgrounds, all ages. We just had a 82-year-old graduate from the school, so so we've had people all walks of life, and then we even started a free account where people could get some basic education, and start to network, without putting any money down. So we really are trying to open this thing up to anybody and anybody who's passionate about this industry. So if you are, passionate about the industry, lock in with CSC, even if you don't have any money and you're just going to come to the free events and get a free account, there's no excuse to sit in the background and watch this industry take off. There's plenty of opportunity here, and our doors are always open.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. So yeah, I want to thank you again. It's definitely been a phenomenal episode. I really appreciate what you're doing. And to the viewers, I gotta thank them for tuning in. It's been a great episode. Till next time, family. Peace.
Thanks a lot.
All right.